This week on a holiday episode of Not Sauce for Work, Terry Tam is co-hosting. Eagle is producing / constantly and chaotically interrupting the show. We discuss the sanctity of boxing and other sports, make fun of Urban Meyer's apology, and Kyrie Irving's momentary return to the NBA. We will get into these topics and much more on this episode of Not Sauce for Work on the Hot Sauce Sports Podcast Network. Welcome everyone you were listening to and perhaps watching Not Sauce for Work. I'm your host, Pease Delariz, and for the first time ever, I read a cold open properly without making mistakes. You'd figure someone who spent most of his life reading, as I mentioned this to Terry Tam, my co-host, you figure someone who spent most of his life reading, it would be a strength by now.
No, because you're reading while with the attention of somebody else. So when you just read at home, or you're just reading an essay, you're reading or whatever, you're just reading for yourself. But when you're reading, knowing that people are paying attention to every word you're saying, then it kind of throws you off. It's actually the worst thing to do ever is speak publicly. It's not easy. It's why I like when you do the ad reads. Yeah. Because I struggle. Like I don't struggle with reading. I struggle with reading on the show. Yeah. You need to see it. Yeah. You need to structure it. Or I can go more off the top of my head. Yeah, I sound like a doofus, but yeah.
Eagle, I do this thing too where I sort of skip through words because university taught me to speed read. Yeah. Do you do that, or you're someone who actually does pay attention to every word as you're reading?
No, I don't read for one. I hate reading.
So from when you used to have to read?
Yeah, I'll skip through words. And not only will I do that in reading, but I'll also do that in speaking, where sometimes my mind is like 3 sentences ahead. So I'm like preparing for it. And as I'm speaking, I'm like, I don't need that word. I'm just cutting things out in the middle.
You're 3 sentences ahead, but when it comes to names, you're 3 pronunciations behind at all times. I had a situation today. So I was out trying to get some last minute things for, the Christmas holiday. That said, we don't know if measures will allow us to see each other. So far, we're allowed to see 10 people, which my Christmas party is 10 people. So I'm very happy about that.
Mine's 11. Fuck you, Legault.
I won't tell anybody.
Fuck you, man.
But yeah, so what I suppose, just getting a few things and some last minute stocking stuffers because my wife's stocking looked terrible. So I was like, I need a couple more things to fill this out.
You don't buy things to stuff.
Do you actually do the stocking thing?
Yeah, we do. We have monogram. This will surprise nobody. We have monogram stockings.
What is a monogram stocking?
It says peas and nati.
Oh, okay.
And we have monogram house coats, and we have the whole thing. Yeah, it's a problem.
This was not your idea, was it?
Those couples. Those couples that people like that are always like the joke in those movies.
It's us.
That's you guys.
Yeah.
Except you're like. And then at the end of the movie, they find out that the guy that's like the cheesy husband is also like a really like funny guy that likes to smoke weed and makes his own beer and drinks a lot of beer.
So it's a movie featuring Seth Rogen, basically.
Seth Rogen, exactly, yeah.
When my girlfriend and I started dating, we started like ironically calling each other bae. I was like, oh, hey, bae, how are you, bae? And then it just became our thing now. Yeah, so I'm now that person.
It's awful. For years after hearing George Bush say, I dear, I used to say I dear for a while, and it was weird because it was the only word with a southern accent in the sentence.
I'm a cheesy boyfriend. Like I do cheesy things.
We
I have like cheese. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's true online.
We follow your girlfriend online, so we know.
Yeah. She's
because you won't post that stuff, but she does.
I posted one recently. Like we had a good time in New York, all that stuff. But yeah, like I'm cheesy, but like in if you see us together, you'll see how cheesy I am. I'm not necessarily cheesy online. I'm more cheesy in person. But I'll throw the cheesiness all over the place. I love cheese. Any kind of cheese. Parmigiano, all of it. Just throw it on. Feta cheese.
Absolutely.
Bocconcini.
Get those bocconcini cheeses. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. My wife and I are strange because we're pretty cheesy too, but then we have these moments where we're weirdly sarcastic with each other.
Yeah.
Like we've been together so long, like we know our threshold for joking, and like I know I'm not insulting her if I joke about this or
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
thing. So like,
There's certain lines though. Like,
Yeah.
there's a
oh,
line.
yeah, there's lines.
And
I know.
if you cross
If I
it,
say this, it's a fight.
you're
Even if I'm
fucked.
joking,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a fight. So as I was driving around, there's just there's a lot of cars on the road. But at one point, I'm near home. I'm like, thank God, I'm almost done. Got to get ready for the show. Get my Die Hard sweater, my Die Hard Christmas sweater on.
You know, we're actually my girlfriend and I were looking to see like which Christmas movies we're gonna binge watch this week, and she suggested Die Hard. I've only seen the first Die Hard once, so like I don't really know much about Die Hard.
I can quote it line for line.
I'm gonna I'm gonna do a marathon this week or next week.
It's on one of the stream platforms. I don't know.
It
which
is,
one,
yeah.
but,
It's on Disney.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But so this thing started happening to me as I'm driving up to the turning lane. They when you're far enough away that you're like, oh, the turning lane just activated. I'm not even gonna have to touch the brake. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is the best thing to happen on my way home. And there's like 3 cars that are like, they have so much time to turn. But they don't move until I come to a full stop, and then they all turn. And then guess who's stuck waiting at the light? You. Even though I saw it, I'm like, all right, this is perfect because this is the greatest feeling in the world, and it's terrible.
My biggest pet peeve is when people stop in the middle of an intersection. When it's not their turn. Well, they go when it's their turn, but they don't have enough space.
Yeah.
So then they block other people. It just happened to me now. I was 3 cars behind. I just held my horn until she moved. Some people are fucking stupid. There's one corner of like when you're leaving TMR to get onto like the 40 to get to the 40 West and the 40 East from there. It's that is if that's a disease, that's like where it starts. In the world.
that and the douchebags who stop the car on the pedestrian stop walk.
Yeah, exactly.
So like now that it's my turn to walk, I can't cross the street because your shitty car is blocking my way.
If I do that by accident, I always try to reverse as much as I can,
or at least give them enough room to
or I'll advance past the crosswalk and I'll burn a red light. If I get a ticket, it's on me.
Yeah.
Just because
you shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
I do not have a traffic story for you, but I actually have a idea for this show.
Okay.
What if we start looking at top 5 moments of 2021? Because we're not sure if we're gonna have a show next week, right? It's all a little bit up in the air.
I think we're doing best of clips, right, Terry?
Yeah. Next week is gonna be like a highlight, like the top.
We get a week off.
Top 10.
Nice.
Yeah, top 10 clips of like throughout the year.
I was gonna say like it'd be nice to get a week off from you guys, but I was actually thinking maybe we should like actually hang out, not on a show.
Let's do it. Yeah,
not in front of a camera for
we'll
once.
just come to the studio and drink.
Yeah,
down.
Why do we come here to do that? We can literally go to anyone's house and drink. It'd be
Yeah,
way
but
more
we'll just be
comfortable.
here.
Then why not just film it?
But we said we wouldn't.
For once, something won't be content. Sorry,
so I want to use the opportunity to kind of reminisce on our last show of moments in 2021 that might be relevant for you. So I have a few of them that I kind of have ideas. I'm gonna
So like how like there's like year in reviews kind of thing. Is what you're
yeah,
saying.
kind of exactly that.
Okay,
So
got you.
I want to start with just a quick little top 5 list here of your top 5 favorite sports moments in 2021.
Okay. Like general?
Yeah, like something that comes to mind. We're like, oh, that was a really big moment.
Oh, I got one. Let's call this my 5. I don't even know if we'll get through 5 or if we're gonna have 7, whatever it is. My top sporting moment, or the 5th best sporting moment of the year, Urban Meyer gets fired by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So for me, it's not necessarily Urban Meyer getting fired. It's the whole situation. Is how we saw it throughout the entire year, how this was gonna devolve, and we saw it, and it happened exactly. For me, it just happened 2 weeks ago. It was Amanda Nunes getting KO'd. I think it's one of the biggest upsets of the year. Juliana Pena winning, like that was unbelievable. That was a crazy moment. Another combat one is Conor McGregor smashing his leg. Like the snapping his leg in half. That's the one that stands out for me.
It's true. That was beginning of this year, eh?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like hockey now. Habs run. The Habs run to the finals. That was fucking bananas.
So my actual like this is 1.1. It might be my favorite for the next decade. Because as much as at times I can be a little sardonic and it seems as though I'm not passionate about sports, I love my teams. I love the Montreal Canadiens. But Saint-Jean evening, and it's Montreal advances in overtime to make it to Stanley Cup Finals. They get by the Vegas Golden Knights, and we thought there's
6 games.
When that series started, we thought there's no way. But for it to happen on sort of the Quebec National holiday on Saint Jean, I was in Hochelaga Maisonneuve drinking outside with my friends and hearing households screaming in the neighborhood, and then falling asleep in my chair at work the next day because I literally couldn't keep my eyes open because I drank 75 beers.
It was a magical time, and I have a video. My girlfriend has a video on her phone of me when they were about to lose to the Lightning. It was 1-0, and they had the puck in the Lightning zone, and Caulfield has the puck, and it's like you're anticipating him to shoot, and he just can't get it off because he's not getting any space. So I'm standing there yelling at the TV, and I have the whole video, and like those moments are gonna be. Even if the Habs lost, I'm still happy with that whole run. It was so crazy to live.
Yeah,
Just to experience that whole
like
thing.
we're old enough that we remember 1993 anyway. So it's cool we have that, and we have this now. You know,
I don't remember the run that much. I was only like 7, so
Okay.
you were
I was a
more at
bit
an
older,
age
yeah.
where you were watching sports. Yeah, that's all I can remember for now. I can't think of anything
I
else.
mean, that's a pretty good list.
I mean, the Braves finally winning is huge too.
yeah, I know. So I was in Atlanta when they advanced the World Series,
Okay, there you
which
go.
was
Big
which is a
moments.
fun
Yeah.
moment.
Braves winning that's a really big one. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been a wild year. You know, I think also like just the way the year started, where Patrick Mahomes ran for 500 yards in the backfield and lost the Super Bowl
Yeah.
to Tom Brady, who apparently aging is not a thing for him. It's wild to me. That sort of is an actually cool moment. Minus Skip the Dishes, who couldn't get my food to me on the day of the Super Bowl. Come on, what are you doing?
Like fuck you, man. I know
it's
what.
the Super Bowl. I need fried chicken.
What are you like busy or something? Like, is there an event that I'm not aware of?
Ruin
Other than
the Super Bowl?
the Super Bowl that I'm apparently the only person in the world watching.
Seriously.
Fuck
what is
you,
this?
man.
All right, back to our retro schedule
I
programming.
don't even know where we're at.
Well, we have a lot to get to, so it's time to get to the news. Terry, it's the news.
Is it though?
It is, absolutely. We had some boxing.
Inhaled a piece of hair.
All right. Terry has become a cat. And now the pandemic has gone full circle from a lawyer saying he wasn't a cat to my co-host being an actual cat.
Like-
Was
get
it
COVID.
your hair though?
It might be
Yeah,
Mokan's.
it was kind of long and like brown. Yeah, it's mine. It has to be mine.
Could
But
be
it can't be
Mokan's.
mine. I didn't move my hat.
Mokan.
Oh, I just inhaled Mokan's hair.
Nah, now you know.
Can we need a new studio?
I just burned
And
this
I need to
one.
burn my throat.
Next week, Terry joins us with a voice box. So Frank Gore versus Darren Williams is where I want to start.
Oh yeah, crazy.
So, like, there's a few things I want to get to here. First of all, Frank Gore could have started on a lot of teams this past Sunday.
Yeah.
And so could Darren Williams with first of all the shape that they're both in.
Yeah.
Secondly, the fact that teams were literally fielding anybody they can find, anyone they can activate, and it'll be a theme throughout this show. But Frank Gore takes the ring with Darren Williams, who's much, much, much taller than him.
Yeah.
And he seems to have been surprised by a strike, as we can see in this picture. As if,
like,
how
what the
could you hit me from there?
What are we? This is football, no? I don't think Frank Gore was ready for that. Duran, I mean, he looked good, but even him at the end, he's like, I don't want to do shit anymore. He's like, I'll let the real fighters,
Yeah.
fight, and it's the truth. But like, he just wants to compete. He's an athlete, professional athletes, right? They have
That's
to
the
compete.
thing, right? Like, that's the thing
And-
that's stronger than them.
What made this fight legit is that they're both fresh off retirement, so it's not like retired. I don't think Frank Gore officially retired, did he?
Well, if he didn't play this past Sunday, I don't think he's playing. Like,
But
literally,
he was on a roster this year.
Duke Johnson ran for 2 touchdowns for the Dolphins.
Wasn't he on a roster this year, Frank Gore? I feel like
he got
was.
cut. He got cut before.
did, okay, so-
before even like the first round.
So
of
he's
cuts.
not officially retired. Deron Williams, I think he's like a
He's
year,
been gone for a couple of years. Yeah.
a couple years,
Yeah.
but not that long. So it's like that's why it's legitimate, this fight, and the fact that they actually look decent. They didn't look like Nate Robinson did against Jake Paul.
I never thought Nate Robinson stood a chance because Jake Paul's much bigger than Nate Robinson.
Huge.
Yeah.
He's a big kid. He's like 6'1", like 185 pounds. He's not a small guy.
Not at all. Not at
Yeah.
all.
Probably more than that. Actually.
The reach was a lot for Frank Gore, who's not an actual boxer, to overcome.
Yeah.
And to see him being tossed out of the ring by Darren Williams, that was actually hard to watch. It's like a guy who's been a fan of Frank Gore forever because if you're not, you don't like football.
Yeah, exactly. If you okay, actually, I've had this debate with people before. Do you think like Frank Gore is a shoe-in first ballot Hall of Famer?
3.5 yards at a time, he's getting to Canton. I think his longevity makes it hard to keep him up because just to have played that long is impressive. Although it's
Like, where does he rank like in like yards and stuff like that?
Like,
Frank
like
Gore.
why is Cal Ripken Jr. in the Hall of Fame? Because he played a long time, right? Like,
Yeah, he's
nothing
like-
about him is special.
You know, Cal Ripken got that. I remember when you work for like a big corporation and you get like rewarded for like not calling in sick, or you get rewarded
Yeah.
for like, it's like, oh, congratulations, you've been here for 10 years. So I always say every time I see somebody get one of those stupid fucking awards, I always say,
Cal Ripken.
congratulations, you didn't quit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, that's just congratulations, you didn't get fired or quit. That's all it is.
Specifically for rushing yards, he ranks third overall at 16,000 yards.
That's crazy
Only behind Emmitt
Emmitt Smith.
Smith, who has 18.3, and Walter Payton, who has 16.7.
Who give me the three names behind him?
Barry Sanders
Yeah.
at 15.2, Adrian Peterson at
Still
14.9,
active.
and Curtis Martin at 14.1.
So those three are Hall of Famers,
Hall-
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
how is Frank Gore not a Hall of Famer? at
I
that
agree.
point? You
That's
know
what
what I mean?
I used to
It's
say.
boring. The way he ran was boring. But
Yeah,
he was
when I
excellent.
think about him, I'm like, no, I don't think so. And then when you look at his stats and how
It's
long,
nonsense.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third of all time. Mark Recchi is 12th all time in points in the NHL. Did you know that?
That's insane.
Mark Recchi.
I would have thought
Mark Recchi.
I would have thought like someone who played with Gretzky, like Luc Robitaille or Bernie Nichols, is third all time in points. But
Mark
no.
Messier second.
Well, like there we
Second.
go. That's the guy who played with
Yeah.
Gretzky.
And also, Frank Gore is fifth in all-purpose yards at 19,992.
There was
8
only-
yards.
Only behind Jerry Rice,
Yeah.
Brian Mitchell, Walter Payton, and Emmitt
Emmitt
Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
So there was. You mean there was a time Frank Gore caught passes?
I mean, not many, like 300
Because
yards. over
based on
15
Saturday-
years.
19,000. He only had 3,000 catches. He only had
That's a good
3,000.
point.
Actually, that's a
It's
lot
not
for a
bad.
running back.
Yeah.
'Cause
So, but
he
the
played
thing
for
is,
12 years.
I would say
15
though-
years?
15 years. Oh, okay.
I'm surprised.
that
The guy really plays a long game, huh?
But I'm surprised he had. I'm surprised he had so many catches. Given on Saturday there was no evidence that he had hands.
Oh,
He actually gave it to you. I don't know if you saw this interview today where they asked him about the fight, and he's like, he basically said, "I'll summarize it for the audience. I got hit and then forgot I had to punch."
That happened. Honestly,
It's
it
what
happens. You ever been like? Have you ever gone into a fight
Yeah.
as a kid?
Yeah.
And you're about to get into that fight, and you look at the kid, and then
And you're shocked.
and he just like boom on the forehead, and you're like, what just happened? you freeze for a second. That's crazy, and it's I know exactly what he's going through.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The other thing I want to talk about though that night, obviously this is the bigger conversation people are having, is I feel like you, correct me if I'm wrong, when the Jake Paul thing started, you were annoyed by him. I think everyone's annoyed by him as a person, but you were annoyed by him as a legitimate boxer. But you've kind of come around saying, listen, he's winning fights,
Yeah.
he's training, he's putting in the work,
Yes,
right?
100%. I've always said I've never hated on anything Jake Paul has done because Jake Paul has done it the right way. His first fight was against another YouTuber.
Yeah.
He won that fight. His second fight was against a professional athlete doesn't have any fighting experience. He won that fight. His third fight was against a guy who has the worst hands in the history of MMA, but has a reputation, and you assume that he might be able to knock out Jake Paul because he was an undefeated fighter and a champion at one.
He was an actual fighter.
He was an actual fighter. He
While
won.
not a striker, he was a fighter.
Knocks him out one punch. Then he fights a legitimate knockout power guy from the UFC, not a boxer, but a guy that has really KO power. But he's 40 years old, so there's already like he's this, but he's this. He beats him by decision. Then he fights that guy again and he knocks him out. He's done everything he had to do. There's nothing. He's played it the smartest way possible. He's annoying as fuck.
Yeah,
I have so much respect for the guy.
I find his personality unctuous. Like I
Yeah.
don't like him at all.
There's times where I do. There's times where I don't. When he's humble, I really do like him.
Yeah.
Like when he talks about Tyron Woodley in a good way, I hear the sincerity. When he says things like I'm gonna knock other people out and stuff like that's okay too. What my problem is him
what I like
acting
is
as if he's the savior of
Yeah.
everything. That's the problem.
what I do like is him going and calling out the UFC champions, knowing they're not going to get not a release, but a permission to fight. I like him going after Dana White because what's interesting is where I used to hate Jake Paul when I first heard of Jake Paul, I used to really like Dana White when I first heard of Dana White, and I've started to show like I respect what he's done.
Yeah.
But he's kind of become a caricature of the things he hated.
Yeah.
Like John McCain, the Republican, was saying this is cockfighting, this is terrible, this shouldn't be on TV. And then he cozies up with Republican leadership. And
but the thing is with Dana White, and he's always been like John McCain. He's not that he's a pure Republican. He spoke about it before. He just goes with the person. He doesn't care who they follow.
Yeah. The other thing,
that should be the way.
The thing is, like, this was he didn't want to be sort of the ridiculous like corporate structure that boxing had become, right?
Yeah.
Where promoters sort of ran the sport, and he was about to fighters, and now he's become the biggest personality in the sport, the personality with the greatest longevity, because of it's become exactly what he didn't intend it to become. You know what I mean? In a sense.
Yeah, he kind of took away. I still think that the UFC model that they have right now is much better than the boxing model.
Oh, well, yes, everything's better than boxing.
I mean, the boxing model, it works, but only at a higher end. Where the UFC, it works at the lower end a lot better, because these guys, even if they're not getting 6-figure salaries and they're on the main event, let's say their contracts are $75,000 each for a fight, and then double if you win. That's actually decent compared to what the boxing guys at the same level are getting. Yeah. So like when people say Dana White doesn't pay enough, if you look at the amount of money that they've made, and the revenue
where
sharing,
the argument is the rev share.
The rev share, exactly. I can understand that completely. But if you look, that's what I'm saying. Boxing at the bottom, nobody gives a shit about those guys. Like even like the guys.
Nobody gives a shit about people at the top, basically.
Yeah, they're 10-0. Yeah, I mean they're 10-0, and then they're fighting tomato cans, or they're fighting guys that are like 10-11. You know what I mean? So that's the thing about the UFC, is that everybody that fights on the card is on the same index. They're going upwards.
Yeah. The thing with what's it called? With regards to Jake Paul and Dana White, though, is like I like the way the model that Jake Paul's following is actually one that's been established by Floyd Mayweather. Yeah. Don't fight anybody who can hurt you.
Yeah.
And market it directly to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't have to rely on a federation. Don't have to rely on a company. No. They're paying to see me, so I'm getting the money. And I can't hate it, because, again, you can't say he's doing it the wrong way when perhaps the greatest boxer we've seen in our lifetime literally did it the exact same way 10 years ago, so ahead of his time, or 20 years ago, whatever it was.
And made the most money.
By far, because he owned his own property, which is, I mean, guy coming from YouTube, obviously that's who he sees things, because he owns his own content at all times.
Yeah, all the time.
Not to mention, this punch is fucking.
So people saying it's fake. People saying it's fake because Jake Paul does this like kind of twitch with his wrist, and then they're saying, "Oh, look, Tyron like kind of falls in." Nobody falls if you're diving. Nobody falls directly on their forehead ever.
You'll fall to your shoulder.
You'll fall to your shoulder, to your back. You'll roll. You'll whatever. He literally face planted.
He also put up his gloves to block and just missed. And Paul connected.
And Jake explained it, and everybody that talks about Jake and when they fought him, they always say his power is like, you don't think he has a lot of power, but he does have a lot of power. That's the one thing he's been saying all this time, is I have that one punch KO power, and finally we get to see it. We saw it 3 times already, but nobody believed it until it was legitimate, and now it's legitimate. Give the guy his money, man. The kid, he's doing the right thing. I think that if he ends up fighting all the guys that he wants to fight, the Conor McGregors, the Canelos, the Anderson Silvas, which I think Alex and the intern and I were having this conversation in the chat, is I think Anderson Silva should be the next fight. It's the smartest thing for him right now, because Anderson Silva is coming off a fight where he beat a former boxing champion in a decision. So Jake Paul fighting Anderson Silva, a couple inches shorter, but they're the same size. That's a good fight for Jake Paul, and he can prove a lot that way. But I don't know if it's the most marketed fight.
Yeah, I like Le'Veon Bell saying you should fight me next, and Jake Paul answered, "I'd drop you faster than the Ravens."
That's a good one. And then people started posting the video of Le'Veon Bell like hitting pads, and he looks good compared to a guy like me, but he's super slow. Jake Paul, I think it's weird for me to say this, but Jake Paul would beat the shit out of Le'Veon Bell in a boxing fight.
I don't think it's that weird, considering the guy's been training for years at this point.
Yeah.
He's 3 or 4 years into his boxing career, not just fights, but into starting and training for this.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, I'm bored. We're going to another top.
Jerry and I get into boxing. It's the one place in the fight game where we can talk for a while.
Yeah.
Another top 5 list for you. All right.
Give me.
Think hard with your stomachs here. Your top 5 favorite meals in 2021 that you ate.
Oh, that I've eaten. Oh, when I went to New York City, we went to Smith & Wollensky's. I had the best steak of my life with a clam chowder.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's pronounced chowder.
Chowder. Clam chowder, and the steak was the best steak I've ever had in my life, by far.
Well, there was a part of the year where we couldn't go to restaurants.
Yeah.
And so I've started going to some of the restaurants I like, just because to support them through a time that would be difficult for restaurants to stay open.
Yeah.
And not all of them were small, struggling places. This place is one of them that wasn't small and struggling. I went to Park, and there was a piece of tuna that looked beautiful that
75.
they were cutting up on Instagram, and I had messaged saying, "Hey, that tune looks amazing." And then later on that day, my wife was like, "Hey, can we go pick up Park?" I said, "Sure." Put in the order, and then lo and behold, when I came home, that little bit of delicious, insanely fresh looking tuna was added, and it was on its way.
Oh.
It was. I didn't even do it for that reason. I'm not a guy who's looking for handouts, but it was cool. It was a cool
And it was
experience,
good?
and it was delicious.
I have been
Out
to
of this world.
Park, but everybody says it's good.
Yeah.
Also,
well, two of the people on the show call it their favorite sushi in the city. So
The only reason I'm not going this year for New Year's Eve is because they're closed. But I've gone there, I think 4 years in a row
Oh,
for the
really?
New Year's Eve special. Yes,
my
you have to go at least once for the experience.
my girlfriend is Lebanese, so she's introduced me to some pastries. There's one. It's called halawet tajibin, but you got to say halawet tajibin. She's gonna laugh if she hears this. And then it's these little bites, okay, but they're filled with like ricotta cheese,
Mm-hmm.
and the outside is like a dough with pistachios on top.
Yeah, I've had these. It's a phyllo dough, right?
No, but it's soft.
Yes,
It's
that's
dough. No, it's not. It's not a phyllo. It's not like
it crumbles.
Yeah, no, it doesn't crumble. It's like very mushy. It's almost like it's
so
like,
it has a pastry dough kind of thing.
yeah, it's almost
a
like it's
croissant
uncooked
kinda?
dough.
Oh, I know the thing you're talking about. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's good.
And
That's one of your favorite meals. You just ate
No,
a
no.
bunch of dessert.
no, that was just like a dish that I discovered this year. That was really good. That and there's this other Lebanese ice cream, Syrian ice cream called booza.
I
No,
was
that's alcohol, Terry.
No, it's booze.
I was walking through Chinatown, and they had some sort of outdoor food festival thingy that we noticed after already having eaten in Chinatown. But eating and then having to eat again has never stopped me from eating.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Unless it's after 7 p.m.
Yeah.
and then, well, no, it was a cheat day, so I was allowed to eat after 7. And so we
Does
stopped.
she lock like put a lock on the
No,
door?
it's me. She finds me psychotic in terms of like how I'm able to follow like a
Oh,
diet
really?
plan, menu plan, and all that. Like
oh fuck.
she
Oh,
thinks
you
I'm a
gotta
crazy
lock me up,
person.
man. You gotta lock me up.
she just got Invisalign put in. It's like braces you can't see. And so,
It's
but
the
thing
John
is,
Cena of braces.
to what's it called? To eat, she has to take them off every time.
Yeah.
So she can't snack now, and she's losing her mind because she normally will eat like something yay small. It's for the listening audience, really small. But like 12 times a day. She's eating continuously throughout the day, but it's always these really small portions.
I love it.
Whereas for me, it's really like breakfast at 10 a.m. this much.
Really?
It's
Oh,
like
I can't do that.
my amount of almonds are weighed.
I can't do. Your almonds are weighed.
Yeah, ounce and a half.
You're a terrorist.
Yeah, I know,
You're a
it's
psychopath.
It's the only way I found that I could lose weight and keep it off. It's
You're a
the
psychopath.
only way. But yeah, so we stumble into this place, and I say stumble because we had cracked a couple of balls of sake before that. And there was this ice cream that was delicious. Like the quality of ice cream I put on par with what I've had in Italy.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual quality of ice cream, there was vanilla mango. It was out of this world. Out of this world.
Here?
Yeah.
Montreal?
Yeah.
Where was it?
So it was one of the stands. They have a place. I wish I could plug them because it's really good. I don't remember Klempa or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about
It's like an Asian Chinese
Kemkoba.
Kemkoba. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best ice cream
Oh my god.
in the world.
Oh my god.
It's the best.
People
ice cream.
should travel
It's
here
a-
to have that ice cream.
It's a Vietnamese.
Yeah,
it's a
Vietnamese. Sorry, well, it was in China, but they were Vietnamese. Correct.
Yeah. So, no, the place you went to wasn't in Chinatown.
No, but they had a kiosk.
Oh, a kiosk.
So it was
okay.
soft serve in a container. I was
Yeah,
like, this
yeah.
can't be good.
Amazing.
But I need to eat it anyway.
So what they do is they're only open throughout the spring and summer months. They
Yeah.
close
It was in summer.
October, and then what they do is every 2 weeks they have a new swirl flavor, and it's they never miss. They never miss.
out of this world.
If you want to get your ice cream, go to Camcoba at 60 Fairmont West at Montreal, Quebec.
Unbelievable.
H2T2M2.
And it's a good corner, man, because you go to Walensky's right across the street, and then right next
You know,
door to
that's not bad.
Camcoba, right next door to Camcoba, it's that $5 pasta place. It's the counter
Yeah,
where they just give you sauce and
you choose the
and
pasta, you choose the sauce.
No,
you
just gnocchi. So it's
Oh, just
gnocchi
gnocchi?
and
Okay.
tomato sauce. $5, $1 for extra cheese. Go to the Deb, get a bottle of water. You don't have to do anything
Fairmont
else.
Bagel right at that same corner too, by the way.
Exactly, Fairmont
This,
Bagel.
this is
the best
This is
corner.
Montreal. I'm not getting water at a corner store. I'm getting a beer and I'm drinking it outside.
like a like a goddamn adult.
yeah.
Water.
Okay, this is one last one. Something I made. It's not even a particularly great meal, but it was after football a couple weeks ago. I imbibed. I was feeling it.
Yeah.
Got into it, and I was like, you know what? I got the
Oh,
munchies.
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate
Hot
it.
Sauce Sports. Which division did we win?
I don't know, some shitty one.
Tier 2.
Tier 2
Of 3.
Hot Sauce
Tier
Sports.
2C.
Tier
Yeah.
2C,
Yeah.
which is
The shittiest of
the
the two.
sixth, the
Hey,
sixth best
it's
division.
6 of 9.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
if you're gonna win,
percentiles.
yeah. So just call me
Technically,
champion 69.
Yeah, fuck those guys that
technically, it was
lost.
4 of 7.
Listen, shut the fuck up.
Hot Sauce Sports.
Yeah, a
Winning-
4 of 7, baby. That
That's
sounds
it,
about
baby.
right. We're the 4th best thing you can listen to of the 7 things you listen to.
Exactly.
There you go. No, I was at the munchies. I rarely get them. I got them that night, and I was like, you know what? I earned it. So fried up some bacon and made a cream cheese bagel with bacon. And it was the moment I realized when you're high, you chew really slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the best feeling in the world.
Because like all the flavors of whatever you're eating,
Yeah.
just like float
It was
in
amazing.
unison.
It was amazing. It was the best thing I've eaten.
Yeah.
Forget the ridiculous tuna I talked about. Forget the best ice cream in the world. It was this bagel that I had at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday night while watching the latest episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm on my phone.
I discovered grapes as a munchie this year
Oh, yeah.
because I realized that when I'm
White
stoned,
or red?
Huh?
White or red grapes?
red, like the
I'm
purple
a red
ones.
grape guy, too.
Purple ones.
I like the white ones better.
But I discovered that when I'm baked, I like liquid sugar, like Gatorade, fruits. Grapes are good because they kind of explode with liquid in your mouth.
You get high and you eat healthy.
Yeah, weird, huh? Like I'm having a Gatorade. Some guys are having a Coke.
You're getting
I'm having-
hydrated.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you
Gotta
gotta
replace those electrolytes.
you'll otherwise get cotton mouth, right?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Fuck,
No,
man.
so I have had an issue with grapes because I've had this issue with my wisdom tooth. The worst part about it is when you eat a grape and it explodes, delicious, but then the skin just gets vacuum sealed into that
Oh,
crevice.
that's
It's the worst.
You got to get in there with a toothpick, and you're like, nah, nah.
Water flosser, change your life.
Oh, the sprays.
it's the best.
Really?
It's the best. Change your life.
Really?
Change your life.
It's fucked up.
All right, that's enough out of this one.
Just
Back to the
carry.
show.
Just
I
carry.
thought,
a
I thought
water
you had
bottle.
something to add, Eagle. So where I want to tie this to the NFL was people are talking about Jake Paul and like, but what does this mean? And but the sanctity of the sport but what are we watching? And the thing is, you're doing this the same time that we're watching Nick Mullins try and save the Browns season as the NFL grasps at dollars because you're not going to cancel games because
Yeah.
you're going to make all that money. And how is this different from Jake Paul trying to make his money?
Nick Mullins is the Jake Paul of football.
He might actually be. He might
Nick
actually be.
Mullins is the Jake Paul of football. That's a fucking tweet right there. Put that. That's the name of the episode.
Yeah, Jake Paul is
Jake Paul. Nick Mullins,
Nick Mullins
is the Jake Paul of football. Nick Mullins is NIC, I think. Just NIC. No K at the end, I believe.
Is it like Nicholas? Like Saint Nick?
Yeah, I think it's just NIC.
You think he would have been better a week before Christmas? Then?
He should look this up.
Yeah.
There is a Nick Mullins. He's a senior director of operations for the Marine Learning Systems in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Let's tweet and ask if this guy is the Jake Paul of the NFL.
But that is not the same. Nicholas
no.
Clayton Mullins of the American football quarterback.
I need to know,
Of the
Eagle. No,
American.
but Eagle, what I actually need to know is if that Nick Mullins, the first one,
Yeah.
is the Jake Paul of the NFL.
I highly doubt it.
He might be. We don't know. We don't know how to
He's had
check
a
out.
13-year career at this company, man.
not
He went
bad.
from programmer to director of operations to now senior director of operations. I mean, that's quite a progress.
Hey, he's moving up like
Moving
Jake
up.
Paul. Just say it. Just say it. But so I've never been as bored with football as I was last night, and I
Yeah,
was-
both games were pretty rough to watch.
because we're not even watching professional football anymore.
Yeah.
Because the injuries already have an impact, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you already feel like, okay, are we crowning the best team or the healthiest team at the end?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have guys missing
We
games.
still have 2 games tonight.
And here's the thing, like, listen, I've been very clear about my stance from the beginning. I'm pro-vaccine, pro-medicine, so on and so forth. At the same time, we've reached a point now where the people involved in the sporting event are more vaccinated than the general public by
Yeah.
percentage, right?
Yeah. Also, the people attending most sporting events
Are all vaccinated.
are all vaccinated.
So, but whatever. Let's say you want to remove the crowd because you want to limit the spread because you
Fine.
want to alleviate the people in the hospital. I understand all that. Fine,
Good
cool.
deal.
However,
Excellent.
the players themselves right now, especially the ones who are vaccinated, this variant is not seemingly deadly, as deadly as previous.
Nobody's died from Omicron.
Correct. Like
Yet.
or not that I know of anyway. But
It's
last
gonna
I
happen.
checked-
It's also very new. So
Exactly. But so as far as we know, right now, it's not as deadly. It's more contagious. Yes, that's terrible. There a group of people who are vaccinated largely, and hospitalization still recently. Fine, especially here in Quebec, we got murdered.
isn't wait one sec. Isn't it a virus when it's the more contagious it is, the less dangerous
Not
it is?
necessarily,
necessarily.
but
Okay.
traditionally, yes.
Okay, all right, so go for it.
And so
We should get Dr. Aquila.
it's true. Good to get Dr. Aquila on your bit.
I don't think you'd feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah,
well,
I
he
know.
did already.
Especially
no?
now. Well, he did when before everything became political.
on FPF. He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, at the beginning when it
Well,
was
back
like,
with
hey,
sci-
just stay
what-
at home and wash your mouth.
Yeah.
back when science,
Okay, sir.
back when we thought of science as science and not a political issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But so if that's the case, why are we doing like? It's either safe enough to play or it's not safe enough to play. Like,
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
If you're doing it, do
Then-
it.
Yeah. If someone's if someone's symptomatic and someone's not vaccinated and you want to say, hey, we have a difference in protocols, I get that 1,000%. I'm behind it. You know what? It is what it is, right? Like, or someone faking a vaccination card. Yes,
Yeah.
punish the fuck out of them.
Of course.
Thank you. Perfect. Great. Although Bruce Arians was all of a sudden less committal about the return of Antonio Brown once Godwin got got put on IR.
course,
All of a sudden he's
of
like, well, we're
course.
reevaluating because our circumstances changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, your circumstances you need
So
him
now it doesn't benefit
Yeah.
us. Now we're gonna change. We're gonna.
Now we don't
bend
have
the
to be
rules a
hard.
bit. Yeah.
And so the thing is,
Fuck yourself.
But
the
I
transparency of these fucking people, man.
but I understand. Again, I understand having these rules in place. What I don't understand is, given all the information, either it's safe enough to play the games or it's not safe enough to play games,
That's
right?
it.
And so if you've made the decision it's safe enough to play, then players who are not symptomatic, who are vaccinated, I don't have a problem with them playing.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like, believe me, I'm the furthest from the QAnon folk or whatever. But like at this point, it needs to make sense from sort of like a medical perspective, and no one's given me that. No one's given me a medical perspective that actually makes sense. What I'm hearing a lot of is people on both sides of this, again, from the sort of political diatribes that I'm not interested in the first at all. I don't give a shit about that.
If you look into this with a political mindset, you're lost already.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You can't. You can't. Yeah.
And I think Baker Mayfield went off on Twitter, right? Basically,
He did,
shitting
yeah.
on the NFL, basically saying like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, players have to self-report, or they're saying like, I have this, I have that, or only because a player on the team self-reported. Now you're testing everyone, and people who are quote fine are suddenly not allowed to play.
And this
So the
is-
teams that didn't report anything are actually allowed to play,
Yeah.
even though they have the exact same problems.
Yeah.
Likely,
This
right?
is a league where people, by and large, by a greater proportion of than any other sector in human society, are reporting brain damage because of their work conditions.
That's crazy.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But this disease,
But a disease
it's
that
not killing-
hasn't killed anybody.
But and again, I understood it the first outbreak when we didn't have the information. I understood with Delta that was more. Now
I can't wait for the Netflix doc in 15 years about the conspiracies about this. Can't wait. Because there's something there. It doesn't make any sense. My girlfriend was asking me, how could you have a conspiracy theory? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the pharmaceutical companies are holding the Canadian government's hostage with something. And they're like, everybody has to.
the thing is,
I'm not thinking it's that. I don't think it's that big,
the
but
thing
there's
is,
something going on
anything that's that big never works because you can't keep 4 people in a room from
Exactly.
saying something
Exactly.
to somebody, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
I mean, they did hide aliens for a long time, though.
I feel that was a small group though, and then because
Yeah.
we also then heard about it for 70 years.
That's a good
point. Right? Like-
also, only the people that get abducted by aliens are always like in the most rural parts of the United States. You ever realize that?
Yeah.
It's like the aliens don't care about any other country in the world.
But Independence, they told us they're going to attack New York. Someone's lying, Terry.
Just last thing on the COVID protocols. There's games. We're recording this on a Tuesday night, so there's
Yeah.
actually 2 games tonight. Awesome for people who love watching football.
Yeah.
But
It's
now,
not for people who have to work and put on a show and bet blindly as they're doing a show, Eagle.
so one thing that people haven't talked about as much is the teams that got rescheduled to the Monday and Tuesday games because they had so many cases of COVID. As they had a chance for players on their roster to kind of like clear protocols, their opposing teams were getting players put on the protocol. So it's actually been the reverse shift, right? So Washington Eagles, for example, that game, I think Washington had a whole bunch of players. They're all back, and now a bunch of Eagle players are now on the protocol instead. So that is now the reverse of what's happening. So now they're asking to get pushing the games, which obviously isn't happening.
It's fucking bananas.
And now the Sunday games that are coming up, or the Saturday games, and in some cases for the next weekend, are all going to have shorter windows to prep for as well. So the entire competitive integrity is completely thrown out the window.
But what does it matter? Because whether it's Jake Paul or the NFL, or we're seeing it now in the NCAA more clear than ever before, all of this is just a financial transaction.
Yeah.
Whether it's us betting, whether it's Jake Paul fighting, whether it's the NFL, whether it's college coaches jumping ship for private planes and millions upon millions of dollars, all of this is just a business. There's none of it matters.
Business that fucking prints money.
Absolutely. Speaking of Saturday games, Tom Brady can't beat the Saints in the regular season, man. Like, it can't be done. And this is a game, too, where by the end of the first quarter, he had nobody on his team. He had nobody, right?
Yeah.
Because between Antonio Brown faking a vaccine card, between the injuries early in the game to Godwin, Fournette, Evans, and whoever else was missing because of protocols, like, he looked like a 44-year-old man for the first time.
They couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything. Bobby Miller was double covered. He was being double covered.
Scotty Miller, yeah.
Scotty Miller, sorry.
Yeah. Bobby Miller, I think, does my taxes.
Bobby Miller is like a local basketball, like really good basketball player, like from Montreal.
Or is Bobby Miller a singer who, as a talented woman, is bringing back Motown?
Maybe.
Bobby Miller.
Maybe.
So we all know the only way to beat Tom Brady is to put a ton of pressure in his face and force quick throws and try and play man on coverage. That's exactly what the Saints did here. You just put a ton of pressure on him, and he's throwing to receivers he doesn't get a lot of reps with.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah.
I will say, like, so that, you know, he threw that late pick to Gardner Johnson. Great undercut by him. Although I don't know, because of how precise the game has gotten, was the route run too deep? Did he allow for Gardner Johnson to cut underneath? Because Brady obviously was very upset after the play. And I will say, after throwing that one incomplete, he had a similar result tossing this Microsoft Surface. Nobody there. Just hit the ground.
Those Microsoft tablets have taken some blows over the...
If you're Apple, how is that not your next ad? How are you not paying whatever it takes to make this an iPad?
You know,
ad?
it should be like Peyton Manning. It should be paid by Apple to take an iPad and like, smash it on the floor and then pick it up and be like, oh, it still works.
Or
That'd
like,
be unbelievable.
Or get Drew Brees, who throws it. It still works. It cuts Tom Brady, smashes it, and is like, well, I guess this iPad still works. But then Tom Brady comes back and says, it's because of his arm strength. I'd like that. It might make me buy both tablets.
Yeah,
If that was a
exactly.
commercial, I'd buy 2 tablets.
Excellent marketing.
Yeah. So it was clearly frustrating for him.
Yeah.
And again, given especially the precision he's played with, and then likewise you see Belichick on a Saturday night playing a game against the Colts. I realize, Eagle, now it's been a long year. I set up the Saturday game, talked about Tom Brady who played on Sunday instead, and now I'm back to Saturday. So calling myself out here for not following my own script. But Belichick taking a loss with the Patriots after the very exciting game where they ran the ball 38,000 times and threw it 3 times, they get just ripped apart by the Colts. And again, it just comes out to, I don't even know what I'm watching. I don't know if these teams, when all these teams meet again in the playoffs, because there's a chance they might, will we get completely different results because all of the players now will be back, and here we go. And none of these games actually mattered in the first place.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know, man. Is the Colts we saw against the Pats, is that the Colts that we're going to see heading into the playoffs?
Or is it the 0-3 Colts to start the season?
Exactly.
When they had all their players. When everyone had all their players.
Exactly. Is Jonathan Taylor going to be able to bust off crazy runs?
He has to be the MVP, right? Remember we couldn't figure out who the MVP was last week?
I mean, let's run through it. I mean, who would it be?
We literally did this last week.
No,
we couldn't figure out it.
We got new candidates here.
Yeah.
Jonathan JT. But if they make the playoffs, I don't see why not. He can't be. He'll get some votes.
I
For
say
sure.
Derrick Henry personally because we saw what
we saw it.
we saw what Tannehill looks
Yeah.
like. But if not him, then it's the other running back, Jonathan Taylor.
But I don't see how they wouldn't give it to Derrick Henry. There's no logical explanation to the definition of the rule of the rule.
But even though the award is never that, it's who played best.
yeah.
But the most valuable player has to be Derrick Henry
Yeah, I
because
agree.
all of a sudden Ryan Tannehill looks like Miami Tannehill.
Exactly.
I I don't know if you know this story. Before a day before, 24 hours before the Giants announced that Mike Glennon and maybe Jake Fromm would be playing quarterback for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
They announced it would be Fan Appreciation Day at MetLife Stadium,
Oh,
a stadium that all
so
Giants
smart.
fans hate.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
well, because they were hoping to get a stadium in the city, and instead it was just right by the Meadowlands, which all fans
It is the
hated.
Meadowlands.
It is, but so fans didn't like that location in the first place, and
But where are you going to put a football stadium in New York City?
I agree with that.
I'd
I
rather
agree.
drive. If
I guess Brooklyn. There's probably areas in Brooklyn you
no,
can put
but
it.
like it's not New York at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not going to put it in on Manhattan, you can't. I don't know. I don't feel it's
Just
the
build a
same thing.
new New York, like in Futurama, above the old New York.
Yeah, but
And there you
people from it's just easily accessible. Like
Yeah.
how many teams don't play in the city that they're actually in?
Quite a few.
Exactly.
No, most notably, the Ottawa Senators play in the middle of nowhere.
They play.
If there was
Canada.
deserts in Canada, that would be a desert.
They play in Canada, I think,
Yeah.
something like that.
So the Giants are hosting Fan Appreciation Day because they said, you know what, we gotta do something for our fans. They decided to give away a medium Pepsi in a cup, in like a hard, like a Pepsi cup, not a commemorative Giants cup of any sort, a medium Pepsi to all season ticket holders who spent thousands on PSLs, who spent thousands on tickets, who are having to watch this disaster of a team. There was a meeting where one of the mayors said, "No, we can't give a large. It has to be a medium." I saw that, and my dad, of course, Pops of Pops' Picks, is a famed Giants fan.
If you're a Giants fan
Yeah,
and you hear this, you should be completely embarrassed
Embarrassed.
to have ever bought or worn any Giants gear. That is the most embarrassing thing. It's the same thing as that. It's almost the same as the Habs season tickets. When I had them, thank God I got rid of them.
mm-hmm.
When I had them, is that to print them out again to get the hard copy, you had to pay an additional $150.
Because they didn't take enough money.
Yeah, or because exactly. But electronic's free though. Electronic is free. But for the people,
well, it's
that
because they know
collect-
you're reselling, and some people want their tickets. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, some people like to
the
keep them.
mementos. and-
Yeah.
yeah.
So they
Especially if you're
It
Montreal
basically
Canadians
pays
and
for the
tourists travel here to watch the games. And
Yeah.
they want a memento from
Yeah.
your season tickets, knowing that that's why you're printing the tickets.
Listen, it comes in like a nice box
Yeah.
and it's cut out well, but it's like, it's $150, man. Relax.
Yeah.
Also, just note on that. Apparently, the Pepsi was not for the holder of the season ticket, as in literal person who had the ticket, but only
Only
the
the-
person whose account name was on the account.
So it got me thinking, Terry. The Montreal Expos had some pretty bad marketing campaigns. One of which I remember I got a binder.
killed him.
I think we killed Terry. That's why I'm buying time in case I need to fill
Not even like
myself.
as they come in, just give the person a
No.
token.
And again, it wasn't
Like-
per person. It was only season ticket holders, but not both season ticket holders. Let's say like you and I.
Oh, but you're not a fan if you're not a season ticket holder.
And that's it. And the thing is, like, let's say one of us is a season ticket holder. Let's say you're a season ticket
Yeah.
holder, and we go to the game together, right?
Yeah. You don't
You
get
get a medium Pepsi. I don't get a medium Pepsi. Now, if you can't go and I buy
Can you
your
negotiate the one large?
ticket, I buy your ticket and I bring Eagle. Neither of us get a medium Pepsi. This might be my favorite topic of all time on Hot Tub Sports. Of everything we've ever done.
This is by far the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life. I have some dumb friends. Very smart but stupid friends.
Yeah.
And my friends have said some dumb shit. You guys have said some dumb shit. Your
on
brother
the show. My
Yeah, on the
brother.
show.
My brother is on his tombstone. They will say dumb shit. Just
Yeah,
the words.
just dumb shit. Duke is king of dumb shit.
Yeah.
I have said I've said a lot of dumb shit. More dumb shit than not dumb shit. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You guys want to take a guess on what the team value, according to Forbes.com, of the New York Giants actually is?
600. Oh no, sorry. 1.4 million.
I'd say
1.4 billion.
Earth.
Okay, no, give me an actual number.
I'd say 2.2 billion.
You think it's above 2?
Yeah.
They
York
are
City.
the third most valuable
Yeah.
NFL franchise
behind the Cowboys and the Redskins.
behind the Cowboys and behind the Patriots.
Oh, the Pats, really?
Currently valued
Never would've
at
guessed
$4.85 billion.
Oh.
What happened
Fuck,
with
they
prices
really
during the
s-
pandemic?
they
by the
really
way?
saved money on
medium Pepsi.
They really save money on those Pepsis.
And they're watered down too.
Well,
the
you know
fountain
what?
drinks.
It's because they didn't have computers until Gettleman got there.
It's true. It's true.
They finally got
the extra
computers.
expensive the computers.
Yeah, they finally got computers.
So now they couldn't afford Pepsi.
Yeah.
Do you
The
have, do you have
numbers
a-
they crunched on those computers said a medium Pepsi is good enough for maybe 8,000 people.
if that
8,000.
because
And
they
I
might
bet
have
you it
sold their
was-
tickets.
I bet you it wasn't even a fucking can or a bottle. It was a
No,
fountain.
no, it was a fountain.
It was a fountain.
Yeah.
That's even worse. This story gets worse.
Yeah. It's like Firefest.
Yeah.
Every detail you get is
Every-
worse than the previous one.
Every episode. There should be a whole
I
Firefest
recently
on
found-
this fans fucking appreciation day.
I recently found some memorabilia that I had from the Montreal Expos because if you remember, they had some pretty bad giveaways too. One of which, and I gave it to my friend's son, who's a huge baseball fan. He's never heard of the Expos, by the way,
Yeah,
obviously
exactly.
because he's a child.
Yeah.
It's a binder, a Montreal Expos binder, and it was because a pharmacy in town, Jean Coutu, sold binders.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a memorabilia giveaway back in the day. That is infinitely better than the Giants giveaway. Infinitely better than the picture of Henry Rodriguez on a binder.
Or giving out the O. Henry bars.
The other one I was going to say was they gave us candy bars
Yeah.
that we didn't eat, that we threw back on the field. We refunded. We refunded the giveaway.
Henry Rodriguez, man. Those O. Henry bars are the best.
Eagle, do you have another list for us?
I kind of want to interrupt you, but I also want to do Urban Meyer before we move on.
Oh, I was setting that up as a separate topic.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I have another one for you.
Go for it.
The
In case we clip it, that's why.
top 5 dumbest tweets you read in
Oh.
2021. Doesn't have to be Twitter. It can be any social media
man,
post.
I wish I was prepared for this one.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
There's been some really bad ones. I can't remember one. Fuck. I mean, there's a lot about the vaccine and stuff, and about Habs Twitter has a lot of dumb people on there. MMA Twitter has even worse. Honestly, I can't think of one that just stands out.
I'm just searching Jose Canseco.
No, Conor McGregor has had some really bad ones, and he deletes them too. Conor McGregor has had some
That's the hard part of this exercise is that people who tweet dumb shit often
they
Oh,
delete it.
not following Jose Canseco.
I tweeted a couple dumb shit. What the fuck happened, Peace?
I know it's been rectified.
Okay, good.
It's been
Fuck.
rectified.
Maybe he unfollowed you.
Yeah, I actually cleaned up my Twitter the other day. I saw Jose Canseco. I'm like, yeah, I'm keeping this guy. What else am I gonna do?
There's
Conor McGregor has some bad ones. Like Conor McGregor, I think he's tweeted too much this year.
Here's one.
There's a limit of tweets you can send.
Here's one because Jose
I'm up there.
Canseco, he clearly the Bigfoot tours are not going as well for Jose Canseco. He wrote, "I have some interesting news about Alex Rodriguez. If you want to know, ask me on Cameo."
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I remember that one. Oh man, you've sent me other good tweets.
Yeah, well,
Fuck,
we
man. I would have put
we-
Alex the intern to work on this if I had known.
There's also the volume of O.J. Simpson saying that he doesn't go to L.A. anymore because the killer could be anywhere,
Yeah.
maybe even in his own body. By the way,
Because you guys are struggling a little bit, I have one to add to the list. Minnesota Vikings running back Dalvin Cook is the victim of domestic abuse and extortion. There's pending litigation, according to his agent, Zach Hiller. Thank you, at Adam Schefter.
oh, and he deleted and added according to his agent because
Wait.
originally it was just from Adam Schefter.
What was the context?
The Dalvin Cook domestic abuse.
He was being extorted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's what he said.
Yeah.
but there's a lawsuit from both people.
Oh,
So instead of waiting for it to come out, the agent got the news to Adam Schefter, who didn't vet it and put it out as is.
yes, I remember this.
It,
Yeah,
it-
Very
it literally
big.
led
I
us to
remember
conversation of, is ESPN news
this.
anymore?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Um,
So many stories, fuck this year.
yeah, it's tough again just because so many of them have been deleted. And the thing is, like, our show is built on Twitter, right? We make fun of these things on Twitter.
Yeah.
For some reason, I can't remember them.
Oh man, fuck! I wish I'd known this.
I'm going to read this one
Next
without
year.
knowing if it's done.
Next year.
Just because it's Jose Canseco. Whatever you do not go to Lost Worlds Myth and Magic in Las Vegas. They have a mask policy that will not let people in. If you don't have a match, you cannot purchase a mask.
can't
If you don't have a
purchase one.
mask, you cannot purchase a mask. here they have no mask for you, but when you walk right through the door, no one's wearing a mask. Don't come.
Okay, so proof to what you said before. I'm on a site, okay, and it's the 76 best and funniest tweets of the year. Okay, so far the top 6 were all deleted.
Mm-hmm.
So they made the list and said, "I'm out of here."
Exactly. Yeah. Fucking. If you're gonna say something dumb, just live with it, I guess.
Yeah, I've never deleted a tweet.
No, I've deleted one. It was this year.
Yeah, but I understand. Well, I don't tweet that many things, and most things are not incendiary.
Because it was funny to me when I tweeted it, but then
Yeah.
context figured better off.
So yeah,
this way.
so Urban Meyer's had a few tweets that we could probably go back to, but better than a tweet. Imagine going on TV and having to apologize for. Well, the reason he was fired was for kicking a kicker. I mean, it was a bunch of reasons, but the last one was kicking a kicker for kicking an employee.
Yeah.
Then, as you're apologizing, saying, "Well, it's because coaching culture has become soft, and because these coaches all have agents and are making so much money."
That's what he said.
Yeah, which is bizarre because Urban Meyer has an agent and was the top. Like he was a highly recruited
Yeah.
coach who got paid a whole bunch of money.
So he's dumb, and
Yeah.
he's soft.
Yeah,
He's the coaching. He's what's wrong with the new coaching culture.
and you know, like so.
He's the biggest idiot. This guy.
I remember a time where someone would do something wrong, and here's a great example of it. Right, Alex Rodriguez. I don't believe he's in the Hall of Fame yet, although I think he'll get in.
He will. Yeah.
Andy Pettit got in.
Yeah.
Both guys are steroid guys. Both guys apologize for steroids.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
Barry Bonds, because apologizing for taking steroids would send him to prison for perjury,
Yeah.
never did so.
Of course.
He he basically never apologized and is being held against him. And the people who have apologized, Alex Rodriguez, rewarded with a job, rewarded with likely Hall of Fame, Andy Pettit Hall of Fame. But that makes sense to me. It's like they apologize, and as much as I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame, no brainer, best baseball player I've ever seen by a lot.
What about Pete Rose?
Well, Pete Rose also said he never cheated on baseball. He signs baseballs to this day. My friend has one that says, "I never cheated on baseball, Pete Rose." I think you can pay him to also get him to sign, "I cheated on baseball, Pete Rose."
Really?
Yeah, it's more of him being just a joke at this point.
I think he deserves to be in. I think it's
based on stats alone for sure. Also, I have a baseball signed by Pete Rose back before you can just pay for him to sign it. So, I'd like for that to count. But it's weird to me that the apologies then become accusations of people who called you out for doing a thing you shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
So in this case, for finger banging some random girl while your family was at home and kicking your kicker, and also being terrible at developing your star running back and quarterback and all these things.
He's a special kind of human, and I don't think that he should ever deserve to get a high profile.
I don't think he's getting another job in coaching or on TV in football.
I think he will definitely be a coach in college somewhere.
I mean, I guess at that
There's
point,
gonna be a
the
school.
NCAA is that transparent.
Especially since Deion Sanders just picked up the #1 recruit in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like at Jackson State, where they haven't had a D1 play, like a top 100 recruit
Because
ever.
they're not even a Div 1 school. So
They're a Div. I don't even know what they are.
they're not FCS, so they're Div 2. Yeah.
Yeah, they're FBS, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. Good for that kid.
Yeah.
He made a decision that he felt was the best.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. So like, some school's gonna be like, we need Urban Meyer to recruit D1 guys.
That would be insane to me. That would be
Crazy.
insane to me.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
You really think it's gonna happen?
Yeah, I do. I do think he's gonna get a coaching job like within the next 3 years.
Would you bet on that?
Yes.
Would you bet on that?
Give me the odds.
If,
You have odds?
well, I mean, what if it was on Hot Streak? If in the next 180 seconds, will Urban Meyer get a job?
No.
All right, so you bet the under.
I bet the under.
Where would you bet the under if that was such a thing?
There's an app.
Yeah, what's the app called?
It's Hot Streak.
Hot Streak
I
Fantasy.
think.
Yeah.
Hot Streak Fantasy. Hot Streak Fantasy is the best.
It's literally on the screen.
Oh,
next
it's
to
on
you.
the screen. The world's quickest daily
why we have the
fantasy
screen.
sports game. Hot Streak Fantasy. Use the promo code Hot Sauce, and they will match your initial deposit as a bonus. Put 1,000, they give you 1,000. But $999, they give you $999 to work with. Hot Streak Fantasy. Use the promo code Hot Sauce. It's where the rich make money.
Before we get into rapid fire, there's gonna be another top 5 list. The top 5 worst bets you made in 2021.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's documented. I talked about it. My whole roulette scheme where I lost like a $1,500 just on roulette.
There's that one.
Yeah.
Who was that basketball player you kept betting the over on Hot Streak?
Oh, it was Davis Bertans. And I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna continue betting on him. When the season starts again. When I don't think he's playing. I think he's out. He's injured or something.
He might be. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll check. But if he's there, I'm gonna start betting on him again.
One of my worst bets is following Terry down the Davis Bertans rabbit hole as a show of support on Hot Streak Fantasy.
I remember I made a bet because sometimes on these apps you can get like promotions, so if like a free bet. So sometimes like on one of the apps I use, you get $50 free bet. So if you lose, they give you $50 bonus.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you have to bet 5 times that amount to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to bet another $250 to get 50.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So I did that, but I had already used my free bet on like a $50. I didn't realize that I already bet on
But
the
you
thing.
used the
So I used another
use the
$50
token, yeah.
and I lost both of them.
That's pretty awful. I had one in mind. Oh, well, I technically made a bet on fantasy in the league that cost me the most money to play and the biggest prize pool. It will have cost me the league. I had Travis Kelce, my first overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
About halfway through the season, I looked at the red zone targets for Kyle Pitts, and I was like, you know what? I have a good feeling. Made a move of Kelce for Pitts and Mahomes, thinking I can shore up my quarterback position, which I never care about, by the way. Never.
Useless.
But I panicked because I had Tannehill.
You need 20 points.
Yeah.
18 to 20 points. That's what you need as a quarterback.
And Kelce, of course, went off for 41 points this week in PPR.
I have him.
It cost me
2 leagues.
Cost me a league where I thought I was taking home $1,800.
Wow. I
also had Hunt and Lockett, who were both out this week, which doesn't help. But that would have saved probably advance and have everyone back next week, good to go, and it cost me. So if that counts as a bet, I made that bet and lost. Oh man, but the Heat. No, sorry, the Suns. I bet the Suns over to win the World when they were up 3 to win the NBA championship.
That's a shame.
Wasn't it? Oh, yeah, it was a small bet. It would have paid out a small amount. It was literally just so I can send a ticket to Alex the intern when the Suns won. Didn't get to do that.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Now the ears are like alternating. It's very weird.
I think I may have touched your.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I'm waiting for them both to work.
I bet the Panthers to upset the Lightning, and then saw that Kucherov was shot out of a cannon. Yeah. He was the only guy at full health to start that series.
Yeah.
I was like, I would be a terrible mistake.
I put $25 on Caulfield winning Rookie of the Year this year. He's been playing like dog shit.
Yeah.
I had $25 on Romanov winning Rookie of the Year last year. He's playing like dog shit. He played like dog shit. Yeah. So yeah, I've had a few of them.
Yeah, I had some pretty bad ones this year.
I've had some really good ones though.
All right. Time for some bad days for other people here with our first rapid fire. A modest proposal. A fan at the Miami Dolphins stadium had a scoreboard proposal plan, except that when they announced it, he wasn't in his seat.
What a loser.
So it just cut to the woman by herself.
That's her?
In shock.
Poor guy. Poor girl. But whatever, she got an engagement out of it.
Yeah.
That's it? Yeah.
If you're the Dolphins crew, you got to know that they both have to be in their seats, right? At that moment?
Make sure. Or also, maybe the guy, they told him, you're going to have to be in your seat from this time. Because that's most likely what's. Yeah. So we're going to do it at this time, right after the halftime, 5 minutes left on the clock, because there's always a clock of how much time is left in halftime. 5 minutes left, we're going to do it. And that guy just went up. He was at the concession stand. So maybe the guy was just hammered because he was so nervous. And he's just pounding back brewskis.
So here's the thing. I actually have sympathy because a lot of people are calling this guy out. Like, where could you have been that was more important? I have a similar story about my proposal. Because we went to a bar. My brother and his wife were going to be there. And they were going to take the pictures when I proposed and all that stuff, right? And my wife kind of knew this was the night. She figured out this was the night. And so... But my brother and his wife were 90 minutes late, and I'm nervous because I'm about to propose. Mm-hmm. And by this point, we've had several people. I think we had, by this point already, we had 5 beers each.
Oh, fuck.
Because we're waiting and nervous. And she's kind of nervous, too, because she thinks this is the night.
Oh, really? Okay.
So now
she's in on it almost.
And it was Nuit Blanche, which is this thing in Montreal where everything's open all night long, museums and so on.
You have to wear white.
I was like, I'm going to find a perfect moment.
I've had too many shit stains in my life to wear white.
No, I don't
White
wear
pants.
white. No, I don't wear white.
Never.
No. But
Never.
anyway, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome. Gonna find this, super romantic moment. Instead, made it halfway around the block in front of some random strip club and proposed to my now wife. Yeah, don't even remember the name of the strip club.
If it's Le Downtown, I mean that's crazy.
I don't remember. It was around the corner from
St. Catherine though.
from what was it? It's the beer place that used to be Coup de Cheval.
Beer market?
place? Oh, beer market.
It's around the corner from beer market.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not.
So
into
much
It
it.
might
free pub.
actually be.
So much
Like
free
near
pub.
Mr. Steers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
so it might
definitely
actually be.
that.
There we go. There we go.
It's that or Gentleman's Club.
Or
one of the
Gentleman's
two.
Club.
Oh no, I think it
exactly.
was Gentleman's Club.
Le,
I think it was
Down,
Gentleman's
Le
Club, actually.
Downtown was like my first one, and we went to it almost every weekend, just like for like an hour.
Yeah.
We pay the $5. We're 18 years old. We go sit there, no lap dances, have a couple of beers, and leave. Like
Yeah.
that's all it was
It
for us.
used to be the joke between our friends when we'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to go downtown?"
Yeah, exactly.
The,
And there was that peep show that lived down. You go down the down a few stairs, and there's a bunch of rooms where you sit in like a lazy boy and you can watch porn.
yeah.
So you pay $1 for like 5 minutes of porn or whatever it is.
It's not bad. Pretty
And
good
then,
deal.
yeah, so I walked in and I'm like, oh, sick lazy boy. I sat on it. My friends freaked out. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, what?
Don't send that.
They're like, there's jizz all over that thing.
the shout out by the way to my sister-in-law who was able to take the picture and not capture any of the lights or
Amazing.
anything else that would
Yeah,
indicate it was a strip
naturally,
club.
always.
All right. Next up, Flatline. Kyrie Irving rejoins the Brooklyn Nets with the intention of only playing road games because he is not allowed to play in New York City because he's not vaccinated. He then immediately tests positive for COVID and is going to miss the next few road games.
Idiot.
So what are we doing? How is this sports?
Just take the season off at this point because like you can't play in New York. There's also other states in the league where you can't play.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna. It's not like you can say I'll be eligible for 41 games because you're not. You're eligible for let's say 30. So you're only playing 30
And not even 30 because you missed most of the season.
because you missed most of the
Or
season.
not most, but say half.
Yeah. So whatever you're getting paid, obviously he's not getting paid for the season.
So what's weird is now that he's back on COVID, he's getting his insurance pay. Now
So
he's
you-
back.
Yeah.
He
so
rejoined the
gets
team,
that, yeah.
got COVID, hasn't played, is getting insurance pay.
That's amazing. That's like
That's wild to me. So it's like
pretty
whatever
crazy.
percentage of his salary that's in the CBA.
I respect Kyrie Irving. I think he's a well thought out individual. I think he overthinks
I
things
think
sometimes.
he doesn't express his thoughts well, but
Exactly.
I think he is at least thinking of things.
I do think that I fully condone his right. He's not doing anything. He doesn't want to get vaccinated, so he's not going to go through the process. He's like, okay, I'm not going to make a fuss. I want to play these games and that's it. I want to play as many games as I
not
can.
make a fuss is also an exaggeration when you think that he's holding his team hostage for at least half the games in the season.
Well, that's the thing.
A team that's still in first place without him, by the
Yeah,
way.
which
is ridiculous.
No, my point is like make your decisions. Like you were saying before, if you make a decision, make the decision. Play or don't play. You can't be in and out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Tyler Bertuzzi for Detroit, he can't play. He's not vaccinated, so he goes wherever he can with the team. So he's decided to play, and whenever they put him in the lineup, they put him in the lineup. So that's fine, but he's decided to play. And Kyrie Irving is in and out all the time, and so you don't know what this guy's. The team should be like, listen, either you tell us a yes or a no, and if you say yes and you don't do it, then you're fucking fined. Like at this point, it's
have
like, go fuck
at this
yourself.
point, including the playoffs last year, have Kyrie and KD played 20 games together.
No, the trio.
It's the third year of this experiment.
Yeah,
and
they played less games together than we've done episodes together.
well, that's for sure.
I mean, that's definitely yeah.
Because KD and the show started about the same time.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
So KD was injured that first season.
It was we started November 2018, so it was the last year of. It was the first year of
yeah.
KD at his last year with the Warriors.
Because I remember, like at that time, we kept talking about how sick is it going to be when KD and Kyrie are playing together.
Yeah, exactly.
And KD missed the entire first season because of the injury. Fine.
Yeah.
He comes back, and then they get James Harden, and then there was like I think 7 total games where the 3 of them are on the court together.
Okay.
And then in the playoffs, Kyrie and James Harden got hurt. And then Kyrie hasn't played at all this season, and then tests positive for COVID, and is also only going to play some of the road games, and also can't practice with the team in New York City. I can't even. And also, they're still in first place, and they won a game a couple nights ago with I think Robin Lopez was the leading scorer.
Oh, I made another bad bet just to remind you the other day. Gabe Vincent, I said he's going to score over 13.5 points the other day. He scored 8 points in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
He didn't score 1 point the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Can you go fuck yourself, Gabriel Vincent?
It's also
Never heard of you. Why am I betting?
Oh, he was
you?
on. He was on the
plays-
Nigerian national team.
Oh, he was. He plays for the Heat.
Yeah.
Never heard of this guy.
That's part of
before.
it is the way Spoelstra does his rotations, where sometimes he starts guys who only play 7 minutes.
He ended up
play
playing
9
16 minutes, but he
Yeah.
played 10 minutes the first 10 minutes, and then he played 6 the rest of the game. It was fucking crazy.
It's Spoelstra has weird rotations.
I watched a Heat game because of Gabriel Vincent, and I'll never get that fucking hour left back. In my
And you watch them without Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Because I know the game you're talking about.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's dumber. What I did,
What,
betting on
you
Gabe
know what's
Vincent
dumber?
and watching a Heat game.
You know what's dumber? We both watched that game. Clearly.
is
I
dumber
know exactly the game you're talking about.
than the Giants Appreciation Day.
No, nothing's dumber than that.
Oh my god, I can't believe that happened.
Field of Dreams. A Jaguars fan ran onto the field moments before James Robinson scored a touchdown, and this was
unbelievable.
captured from the end zone.
Oh, you got a fan on the field! There's a guy on the field!
If that was Gardner Minshew would have thrown the ball.
I was going to say, he's open.
Yeah.
He was more open than any of the Jags receivers all day.
Ever been all season.
Yeah.
If that was Gardner Minshew, he's guaranteed throwing the touchdown.
And like the Jags are so expecting it to like not count that they actually scored. James Robinson actually got into the end zone.
And they're upset about it. They're like, "Fuck, what happened there? We got points. Oh shit!
Oh,
Is that a good thing?
Yeah,
Is that-
good.
Is that a good thing?"
Jags advance to get. They fall behind in the standings, but have now advanced to get the first overall pick in next year's draft after getting the first overall pick last year.
Fucking stupid.
All right. Daily Sauce. The story of the PNC tournament may have been Tiger Woods and his son playing together, but Hot Sauce Sports' most valuable golf dad, thank you, goes to John Daly, who is rocking the Santa Claus look.
And ripping heaters, as this tweeter points out, ripping heaters on the golf course. There's never has there been an athlete?
I thought you were gonna post a video of him chipping barefoot with one hand.
No. It was just a picture because sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 videos.
This is unbelievable.
Just smoking a cigarette during the middle of a golf tournament with your son.
Have you ever watched his son play?
Yeah.
His son is so good.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
Well, and Tiger's was pretty awesome too.
Tiger's son
Pointing at a 40-foot putt as it sinks.
Even Stenson, his
Yeah.
son is really good. Like there's Charlie Wood. I was showing my girlfriend how good this kid is. Okay, and I even tweeted out the other day. I'm like, I say this with the most sincerity and with envy, something like that as possible. Charlie, you can fuck right off. he hit an 170-yard iron with 2 feet against the water, against the wind, and a straight line.
He's 12.
2 feet from the fucking hole.
He's 12. He's
What?
12 years old.
I've played probably close to 100 games of golf.
I've played double his age. This is the amount of years I've been playing, and I've never done that.
It makes no sense.
But
You've
so-
seen how big the kid's hands are?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This kid's gonna be a superstar.
Absolutely. I think so as well.
really hope
The
he
other thing,
becomes
though,
a good superstar.
Just keep him away from the supermodels.
I was gonna say if he has I really hope this kid
Keep away
has
from
like,
waitresses.
has like a-
Supermodel's fine.
I hope he has like a LeBron James career where he's like clean.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know? He might be up and down in
To
the
be
media
fair, Tiger Woods did until that Thanksgiving.
until there's been a couple.
But so when I saw John Daly, I was like, is John Daly the most Kenny Powers athlete we've seen in real pro sports?
Kenny Powers is based on John Smoltz.
So I have one more to propose. Lawrence Taylor.
No, not John Smoltz. Johnny Rocker.
Johnny Rocker, that's
yeah,
right.
John Smoltz is like a very low key guy.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, I'm forgetting something about John
Johnny
Smoltz's
Rocker.
career. But I was thinking Lawrence Taylor. Between
Ah,
the
yeah.
partying, the drugs, the showing up to a team meeting in
Yeah.
handcuffs.
In handcuffs, yeah.
Not because you were arrested, because you couldn't find the key from the night before. And you ripped out a bedpost to get those handcuffs out.
Yeah.
But he made the meeting on time. So,
I mean, there's Broadway Joe.
yeah.
Can't forget about Broadway Joe, prolific. There's been a couple. Brian Bosworth the other day. Our buddy
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
My buddy, our buddy Sean, the other day sent me a video of like a commercial of Brian Bosworth from like a trailer from a movie. It was unbelievable. I didn't know he was an actor.
I know there's an actor.
He was like those 90s, 80s like mullet, biker, badass
Oh,
guys.
so he was like one of the first guys Steven Seagal has to kick the ass of in the movie. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
he's the last guy.
Oh, he's like the big boss.
yeah,
he's
he's
not
the
a mini
last
boss.
guy. Yeah,
That's impressive.
The movie's called Stone Cold, if you can pull it up.
Impressed.
No.
Towards the end.
But what I am going to bring up, bend it like Zane. The Carolina Panthers were auditioning kickers moments before their game against the Washington football team. Let's just say, Terry, I think you would have had better luck being the kicker for this game.
We're watching some of the kicks. A lot of onside kicks being attempted for some reason that I don't understand.
I think they were just going to use them. They were going to go for twos unless they needed to go for an onside kick. So they were just practicing. But like the CFL, I need a rant about the CFL at the end.
Right, just
Just
do it
like,
now.
Just like a 2-minute rant.
Just
Okay.
do it now. I'll let you have all this rapid fire.
Okay.
You
So
get all 3 minutes to
no,
yourself.
but it's like we've had Matt Mangel on the Weekly Sauce, and he's a kicker for the Alouettes, and he can punt and kick. He played for UCLA, and he tweeted out. He's like, yeah, kickers should be dual threats, like both. Like you should be able to do both. The fact that they don't have a guy that's able to step in, like the punter can't kick a field goal, like that kind of thing, is really weird. But they're paying two guys for one guy's job. If they lowered that and you had an additional linebacker or receiver, I think the NFL would.
I think
rather
just because of the specialization, like it's not hard for a kicker to punt, but to be able to punt with that level of
that.
specialization,
Yeah, that too.
or kick field goals with that, you know what I mean? Like Justin Tucker, for example, if he's not the kicker and you have just a punter, maybe he makes a 35-yard field goal,
Yeah.
but can he hit the 52-yard of the way Justin Tucker does?
Exactly. So my CFL rant is the Grey Cup was last week. Okay,
Nobody knew.
we didn't talk about it.
No.
So Hamilton loses to Winnipeg in overtime. I watched the fourth quarter and overtime. Decent game. Apparently the rest of it was boring, and I'm not surprised. Okay. Now the product on the field, the way the cameras are, you can't get a feel to how good the game is. The game is actually a good game.
I've also said the presentation to CFL is
It's
awful.
God, dog shit.
It's they're stuck in a line.
And I was at the gym with ex-coach of the Alouettes, a mutual friend of ours, and we were talking about it, and he's just like, the camera angles are awful. You can't get a real feel. The game is so fast down there, but the field is so wide that it looks like plays take too long and all that stuff. Anyway, my issue is more with the CFL's marketing team, is that I have interviewed, me and Alex on Weekly Sauce, we've interviewed probably a dozen of Alouettes players, CFL players. You and I have interviewed CFL players.
we had a
football
CFL player
players.
announce his retirement.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
John
exactly. Yeah, John Bowman announces retirement on the show. We spoke to Ben Cahoon. We've spoken to Tony Washington. We've spoken to Chris Aki. Gino Lewis, who had a great year. Jake Weineke, who had a great year. Like, all these guys. I follow all these guys on Twitter. I follow the CFL on Twitter. I follow the news. Like, I'm not a super CFL fan, but I know decently enough. Marco Bruyette is a very close friend of the show. He does play-by-play for the Alouettes on TSN Radio. I did not hear a week leading up to the Grey Cup. I did not see one tweet, one Instagram post, nothing, not one commercial on YouTube, anything, marketing the Grey Cup.
Our Instagram had more posts that we saw for it than other people's.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
That is why the CFL is failing. The CFL is not failing because the talent isn't there. The talent is there. The CFL is failing because there's no marketing engine behind their whole thing. You've had an experience with a front office,
which we
of a
won't
team,
talk
which
about
we won't
specifically.
yeah, just to show you how dumb they are. They think so small-minded that it's never going to do well. And the XFL now just expanded in 2023. The XFL is coming back in 2023. They're going to kill the CFL. All those good American players are going to stay there, and all the best ones are going to be in the XFL, and the CFL is going to die because they don't know how to market. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. You can't rely on your biggest market in Saskatchewan. You can't rely on them and BC and maybe Toronto on driving the entire league. You need to do something else.
Terry, for a long time, the Grey Cup was on American Thanksgiving Thursday.
Stupidest decision in the world.
If you just put it Friday, you have all of America with no football to watch for a whole day.
Also, you know why college football play on Friday nights and Saturday?
Because there's no football.
Because there's NFL on Sunday morning. You know when the Grey Cup was played this year? At 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching.
Nobody's
watching.
At this point, because of all the gambling and all the fantasy, Canadians aren't even watching.
Canadians aren't watching. Nobody's watching.
Let alone like trying to grow it for the American population, right?
Yeah. I knew 3 guys that went to the game. I didn't hear about it once.
Yeah.
That went to the game.
And our last topic for rapid fire, let's make it quick here. The Grinch's roast beast. What are you guys doing for Christmas finally? Because we're in a little bit of a weird situation here, a nice little pickle. So
Well,
is the pickle going to be on the table, or are you going to get
Yeah.
it catered, buffet, someone cooking?
No, we're it's whoever's house we go to. We're going to a restaurant on my dad's side, and then we're going to my aunt's on my mom's
You
side.
need to be out of the restaurant by 10 p.m.
Yeah, that's fine. Because we have
Because
two
it gets more
babies.
contagious after
Yeah,
10.
after 10 p.m. We have
Everyone knows that.
we have two babies so in the family, so we do.
That works out, yeah.
And then on my mom's side, we're just doing like whatever, staying at home.
We host Christmas Eve because we have, well, at first we were the ones with the house, and now we still sort of have the more hostable house. I'm making a giant full ribeye roast. And everyone else is bringing some odds and ends and sides and appetizers and stuff like that.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. We're actually, because
But
we're
you're a
only
good
10
cook. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. We sorry, we're gonna be 10 because it turns out that's the maximum allowed, but also we were planning to be 10 anyway.
I'm gonna
So-
be 11. Fuck you.
So for the
man.
first time in a long time, we're doing a sit down meal and not like buffet style. We're actually gonna serve courses and stuff. So
Yeah.
pretty excited about that. Eagle, what are your plans?
Normally, I have
Provided that we can have Christmas.
I have a traditional meal with my family on Christmas Eve, and then I go to my girlfriend's family on Christmas Day. But this year it's going to be different, so we're actually not doing my family on Christmas Eve, but we're going to do it at her family's instead.
Okay.
But I'm bringing some of our traditional items at our Italian dinner to her place. So
The seven
the-
fishes.
yeah, the one we always do. That's
7
literally
fishes.
only one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Christmas Eve is always fish, and then Christmas Day is always meat.
So the
So-
Italian side for us has to do the 7 fishes. So it's normally supposed to be 7 courses of fish. My mom instead makes a 7 fish salad, and we have to have meat because Latin America.
Yeah. So what we're doing is there's one dish we have every year only on Christmas Eve and only then, never else throughout the year, which is an anchovy and like a roasted garlic sauce with capellinis, so like the angel hair pastas.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only time of the year we actually have it, and
That's
I'm
amazing.
legally not allowed to eat it else time. So I'm bringing it to their house to make for them.
I love
For
it.
It's like
for
our
portion.
fried cod. We
Yeah.
do deep fried cod.
Yeah, I do cod.
And it's,
Yeah, we
it's-
do-
We only that, and we have these potato donuts. We only eat at Christmas.
Potato
Yeah.
donuts.
Yeah, so normally our meal is caviar, smoked salmon, shrimp cocktail. Then we have the fried cod. We also have a cod salad as well. We do the anchovy pasta. We do lobster tails. We do roasted eel in the oven.
Lobster tails.
And that's kind of like our little fish meal and everything.
love
But yeah,
lobster
this year we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping the anchovy pasta because that's the only thing I never eat
That's
other
a-
than Christmas Eve.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good. Happy New Year
Yeah.
to our listeners.
So next week you're gonna get a best of.
Yeah.
We're taking a little break, but we'll be back in January. Maybe we'll be remote. Maybe we'll be in studio. We'll find out. Honestly, this has been a challenging period for all of us. Whether you're here in the studio, whether you're at home watching, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for all that you've done. I want to wish everyone who's watching the happiest of holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, great. Anything else that you celebrate, please do enjoy it. And the happiest of New Year's. 2022 is around the corner, and it does sound like it's 2020 part 2 when you say 2022. But let's hope it's not. Let's hope we see sort of positive signs on the other side. Terry, thank you for everything you've done today. Eagle, thanks for the production, the random list. That was a lot of fun. But most of all, I want to thank you all for letting me be myself. Rate, review, subscribe, all those things. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.